Hello there, my friends. The game of Mordheim, City of the Damned, takes place in a ruined medieval fantasy city. The original box game for Mordheim came with a plethora of beautiful terrain, small, medium, and large ruined buildings in all manner of shapes, styles, and colors, scatter terrain like a little statue platform, and barricades to give cover for your miniatures. The Mordheim barricades in particular heavily influenced my own cardboard barricades that I made. And as a game with multiple levels in 3 dimensions, many bridge sections, both big and small. Our craft today is inspired by these little scrap bridges from the original Mordheim game. The ones in the Mordheim box are about 3 inches, but I think around 5 inches is a good size for the ones we're going to make today. Most of our build is going to be from double-sided wood-textured cardstock, which I showed how to make in an earlier video. If you haven't seen it yet, you should really check it out. It's a great video and I use this material a lot in all the different things I make. We'll start by cutting random planks, different lengths and thicknesses, because we want this to look like it was made out of various pieces of scrap wood and sort of thrown together, especially in like a panic or a hurry. Desperation, hopelessness are very big themes in Mordheim, and we want our terrain to sort of evoke that as well. After you assemble a bunch of random pieces, sort of like a puzzle that you make yourself into whatever shape you want your bridge to look like, just glue them together. You can use your scissors to rough up the edges of your cardboard and make it look damaged, burnt, and more like it's made of just random pieces of scrap wood. Then, you can glue some little pieces across horizontally, as though that's what's been nailed onto it to hold it together. Be sure to put a few of these pieces on both sides, but if you're like me, it's easy to go overboard. So just try to remember that less is more, and about 2 or 3 pieces per side is really all you need. One of the coolest details from the original Mordheim bridges is how some desperate adventurer, scavenger, or survivor used rope to lash the bridges together. So let's do that ourselves. These are the strings from a tea bag. They're usually stapled on both sides to keep the strings firmly in place. But if you get something like a toothpick or a pencil, you can sort of put it in the loop and tease out the small end. And then after it's loose, you can just pull the rest out. And now you've got some perfect sized rope for your miniatures and models. After you give it a test fit to see if you like how it looks, put a little bit of glue on your fingers and run the string from your bag of tea in between them to give it a very thin coating of the glue. Then just wrap it firmly around. The glue will make it strong and help hold it in place. Since our bridges are a little bit bigger, at 5 inches or so long, I think it looks good if you do 1 or 2 sections of rope lashing it together. Then you can use little snips with your scissors to make the whole bridge look more damaged. You can even bend some of the planks to make them look rotted or warped. I glued on some of the other scraps and little bits, but when I make more of these, I think I'd leave them off. Only about 3 or 4 little bits, I think that's enough. I took the rest of my scrap bits, and then a little bit extra to make a broken door, and made another one. In a game like Mordheim with broken balconies, where you can leap from one level to attack your enemies down on another, you can never really have too many bridges. Once you're happy with how they look, in terms of your damage and rope, you can give them a coat of a black paint mixed with a glue as a primer and sealer and strengthener. Then as our final step before painting, just dry brush your little bridge with a white or off-white paint. Our painting scheme today is very simple. We're going to use a yellow, an off-white, and a brown, as well as a black. We'll start by painting the wood brown. You can paint a little bit unevenly, and if your paint is thin enough, the work we did with our priming will let the highlights come through and leave lighter areas, and then darker areas as well. So if your paint is pretty thick already, I would thin it down with a little bit of water. If you put in the work ahead of time, you honestly get good results with just one coat of brown paint. But let's make the rope a little bit different. We'll paint that a yellowish brown. My first attempt was too yellow in my opinion. Then, to give some variation in our wood, we'll mix a tan with the brown and the off-white and brush that on random planks. I also dry brushed my rope with it to cut down on a bit of the yellowness, and I think that worked perfectly. Okay, this step is next level, but it's also super secret, so don't tell anyone. Just kidding, please tell everyone you know. We're going to take our black paint and dry brush it on a lot of the damaged areas to give it a burnt effect. I never really have heard anyone ever mention like dry brushing black to make things look burnt, but I started doing it on some projects a little while ago and it works really, really well. After you've got your burnt areas blocked out with the black, we'll take our off-white and do a very light dry brush on the edges to represent ash. And this is a step where you can also go overboard. So definitely try to rein yourself in a little bit. Like you don't want the whole bridge to look like it's been torched. Just parts of it, edges of planks, the door here in particular, stuff like that. And that's it, my friends. This is the first cardboard bridge I made as a test piece. And compared to the two for these video, I mean, like I said, I have a tendency to go overboard. It's not quite as ruined or as burnt, but it showed me that this was a great concept. 5 inches is a perfectly adequate length, And cardboard versus wood, like popsicle sticks, is probably a better way to go, I would say. Because cardboard has a little bit of flex to it, so when you put a miniature on top, it'll bend and be more likely to stay in place, versus a wooden bridge that would stay rigid and tilt one way or another. This video came about as I was working on my cardboard Mordheim ruins video, and I thought it would be a really fun addition and a great thing to show how to make. They can hold at least 2 orcs, so there's definitely some value there. Thank you for watching, my friends, and a very special thanks goes out to the sponsor of today's video, me. So far, this channel has been a one-elf show, but as we keep growing, I want to get better at producing more frequently and on a regular basis. So, if you would like to get involved and give some support to our channel, let me know in the comments. I've been thinking about this a lot recently and how to engage more with you, my friends. I don't have many friends IRL, so your comments and thoughts always mean so much to me. Stay tuned for the Mordheim Ruins video. Thank you, my friends. Till next time.